On today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Zoloworld Realm of the Underworld 5 3/4 inch action figure fantasy series. We're having a look today at Preytus Wraith of Acheron. This fully posable fantasy figure does come included with bone-crushing, bone-bashing accessories and plays with all 5 3/4 inch fantasy action figures. I'm really liking this long staff that he's got. It looks like it's made almost out of a bone material. It's not real bone, but has a look to it like it's a bone that it was crafted from. On the back of the package, the entire line of Realm of the Underworld figures. We have Hercules, Crisis, Archfiend, Acromancer, Preytus, Arteris, Archfiend, Acromancer, and a battle pack available as well. Join the epic adventure of Realm of the Underworld. You can head over to www.underworldfigures.com, or you can also head over to www.zoloworld.com for more information. This is the second figure that Spot has just recently picked up. I have a while ago reviewed, and in fact the other figure I reviewed was Acromancer. I'm super happy with how that figure turned out. I definitely want to get more of them. We also had a look at the Crisis figure, so I'll show you that when we get this figure opened up too. But what I will do is take a break, get this opened up, and when we come back, we're gonna get a better look at Preytus Wraith of Acheron. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Along with Preytus, you'll get yourself a trading card featuring some artwork of the character in the back and an image of Preytus the figure in the front. And down below it says Realm of the Underworld on the back. An image, once again, of Preytus and a read-up. And the only real gripe I could make is that it's a shame that the read-up is so small. That font is so small that it's very, very hard to read. Down below it says join the epic adventure on Facebook, Realm of the Underworld, the official site being www.underworldfigures.com. Moving the card to the side, the other accessory that comes with Preytus is this really neat looking staff. And as I mentioned with the packaging, it does look as if it's almost been crafted out of bone. It does also glow in the dark too, which is neat. Just hold it up to the light. You absorb, some lamp light, and once you turn off the lights, see how it glows in the dark. And obviously, the longer you hold it in front of your lamp light, the brighter the glowing effect will be on the staff. And can really be said for Preytus as well. He is comprised of this glow-in-the-dark material, glow-in-the-dark plastic, in his legs and his arms, and also in his head. So again, when you hold it up to a lamp light and turn off your lights, you get that same glowing effect. And again, it all depends on how long you've held it in front of the light. Will depend on how bright this plastic actually gets. I really like the look of Preytus, as opposed to just being a straight plastic sculpted figure. He's adorned in this kind of cloak outfit here. It's a fabric material, a nice dark black fabric. And while I thought it actually took up the entire figure, it turns out actually his head is the cowl, or I guess the hood, is removable. You just can take it right off. And a really interesting face underneath of Preytus, with the glowing red eyes, the beard, and mustache. It's a really neat looking piece. I think I almost prefer it though with the mask on. The hard part though is just trying to get the mask back onto it. But it's still fairly easy to do. You get it on something like that. He's also got this crest chest piece that you could probably remove it, but I think it would involve having to take the whole head off and everything else, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Some nice red along with the gray in his armor there. A little bit of a darker red in this ram crest piece that's in his belt area here. And obviously the one thing you'll also see too is that he has chains connecting the two arms together. And it looks like it's just one side has been tied down. So I guess if you wanted to, you could just unfasten the chain from the one end and just have it looped around his hand on the other. But I'm probably, again, just going to leave it as is. He is the same height as the other Underworld figures. In fact, bringing in Crisis, you can see that he is he does appear to be the same height. He's a little bit taller, of course, just by the head sculpt, but is utilizing the exact same body. Spots, I already mentioned this with the Crisis review the Crisis figure that we've looked at. It's not necessarily something that's going to be geared towards everybody. Not everybody is going to jump on board a line like this. But I think really where Zoloworld is gearing this line towards are the 30-somethings, like my age bracket, that grew up with toys like this. There was probably about 2 or 3 toy lines in the 80s that were a very similar looking line. Obviously, everybody remembers the main one line, but that's why I like this line so much. One of the reasons why I wanted to pick up the initial figure that we looked at, and why I wanted to pick up these figures too, is just to get more of these retro designed figures. They're super simplistic with their articulation, super simplistic with their sculpts, but that's exactly what this line should be. We can give him his staff. We can put it just in his hand. It kind of slides just because his hand is very big versus how narrow, or a little more narrow, that the actual staff is. Articulation on Preytus is the same as it was with Crisis, in the fact that his head does rotate left and right. You might find that the hood kind of moves when you move the head, but still moves quite easily. Shoulders move left and right. He has a swivel in the waist, a little hindered by the fact he's got the belt, and his legs have a very nice ball socket joint, so they do move quite easily. He's also got very small feet, which was the same thing as Crisis. He does have a sort of a display stand, but getting him to stand, I didn't really have too much of a problem. Or if he does have problems standing, you can always just have him holding his staff, and that should easily correct any sort of him toppling over. Between the two figures that I just recently picked up, I really like Crisis, but I like that there's so much going on with Preytus. The inclusion of the fabric, he really has a dark, sinister look to him. If you guys are certainly interested, and again, if this is something that has definitely got you excited, if you grew up with the 80s and you love like this retro feel of figures, you're definitely going to want to be on board for the Realm of the Underworld. I'm going to provide the website down below. You can definitely click that link, check out some of the stuff that they're producing over there. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Zoloworld Realm of the Underworld Preytus. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.